Hello and welcome back to Northwestern Models, and today I'm going to show you how to put together the 1970s static caravan kit from Three Peaks Models. So let's get started. So let's have a look inside the caravan kit and see what we've got in here. A number of parts and the all important instruction sheet as well, which is quite in depth. So I'm going to have a quick read through and check over the parts and things, just so I've got a bit of an idea of what I'm going to be doing. Okay then, so there's a little bit of assembly to this and some other ideas that you can do with it. The first step would be to find some clear plastic sheeting, perhaps off another model kit that you've got from the packaging, to glaze out the windows. You can then also add in all your interior parts if you wanted to fit curtains to the windows as well, or paint inside. You can, because you've got a nice big open space there, where you should be able to get brush into most sort of corners and that, if you're fairly clever with it. There is a floor piece which slots in and then just drops into place, so that stays there, and that does have a little handle on it, so you can manipulate and handle that quite well. Obviously you can glue that into place as is. We then got the main trailer chassis for it, and there's some wheels to stick on as well. So my first step that I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the wheels onto the chassis so they've got a little bit of time to dry before I put the floor into the caravan body, and then the caravan onto the chassis. I'm not going to be fitting glazing or anything, or curtains or anything to this, because this is going to be a display model for when I'm at various different shows, just so that people can see, when they see it, they'll be able to see what comes in the kit. And obviously I can explain at the time that, right, well, you can open the bottom up, you can fit windows in there, and add curtains and so on. So that's the reason why I'm not doing the interior parts, if you were wondering. So with Three Peaks Models kits, because they are 3D printed, they have recommended that you use a super glue, and I'm going to use the Rocket Rapid from Deluxe Materials, because it's quick, easy, and sticks pretty much anything. With plastics with it being a 3D printed plastic kit, anywhere that you are going to glue, I think it's always worthwhile just having a bit of sandpaper and just roughing up the area a little bit, as it just gives the items, the glue, a bit of a chance to grip it. So it's got a bit of a key on there, which will hopefully help it to grip really well. And it doesn't need a lot, just enough to sort of hold it in place as well. And then the little wheels, see if I can rough them up a little bit. So they're quite small. 3 wheels. Doesn't need a lot, but just a little bit. So let's see about getting some of these stuck on here. So with the wheels, it says to put one each side of the axle on the chassis. You can hopefully see there that there's an outer rail there, which will be the axle. So try to put them on there and just try and line it up as best you can with the axle, just so it's in line, and same at the other end. sit there, and then the front wheel fixes on to this little pin which drops down, just fits onto there. So that's that. So I'm going to leave that to one side just to dry off for a minute before I now see about sticking the floor in place. And as I said, you've got a little handle there which you might just be able to see, which allows you to just about grip it. If needs be, you could possibly get a small pair of pliers in there to hold it, so you can manipulate it a lot better. So as I said, that should slot in at an angle and then pull down, and it should go in there. So to hold it in place, I'm just going to glue down the two sides. Should then keep it in place. So I've not got too much glue on there, just a little bit. So and pull it in the hole, and then just let it sit like so for a minute. Right, so now that should be in there. As you can see, it's all held in there, so we've got Caravan floor in there. So now we need to stick the Caravan to the chassis. Obviously make sure everything has dried before you try and do this. So the Caravan fits with the large bay window, goes across the front of the trailer. And the front of the trailer is the triangle area, and as I was trying to do is a little test run, make sure it fits on there, and it should fit like so. Fairly easy. You may find it easier to do it upside down, which will actually help you line everything up, which I think, to be honest, is probably the way that I'm going to do that. So to do it, I'm going to glue around the top of the chassis and then drop it on like so. So let's try that. Let's try and get it as central as you can. And as you have, just a little bit of pressure just to hold it. That should be it on there, quite happy. So, painting wise, it's recommended that you give it a aerosol primer first, and then any sort of acrylic type paints should be fine for it. Most Caravans of the 1970s will have been fairly flat colours, so there will have been light cream, beigey sort of colours, maybe a bit of two-tone on there. You might have had sort of some greens on there. Most certainly a white roof, perhaps with some black fittings on the top, or again some white fittings. If in doubt, look at some photos. The window frames would probably be aluminium, but again they could be body colour or white. So there's a number of different things you can go with, but it's probably best just to have a look at some photos and sort of see what colour schemes are available. But that's basically how that Caravan kit goes together. So there we are, that's how to put together that wonderful little 1970s Caravan kit. It's really nice, very, very simple, and will look perfectly at home on a number of layouts, either on a campsite or maybe as a site office or something like that. Obviously it just needs a bit of paint and prime it, paint it into the colour scheme that you want, and it's all ready to go. Obviously if you wanted to, you could add those bits of window glazing and curtains and bits of interior as well if you really wanted to. So anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, do remember to give us a good old thumbs up. Also make sure that you hit that subscribe button below as well, and until next time, happy modelling.